Hey, how's it going? It's your pal Bill Savely with Savage's Disc Golf. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Two events. Again, I like to give you these updates. The Thursday night league with the Berwyn Disc Golf Club went absolutely phenomenally for me. You know I have -8 is my goal, and I try to hit that goal every week. And I tried to also go bogey free. Well, guess what? I hit one of those goals on Thursday. It wasn't the goal that you think. I did get 8 birdies, but I took 2 bogeys. So I shot 6 under par for the entire round on Thursday. That's 20 holes. Absolutely phenomenal. The disc was going well. The card mates were really great as well. And I just think, especially on Thursday, I was throwing the disc better, my approach shots were better, and my putting was great. Fast forward to today. We played, some of the guys and I from the Berwyn. Some of the guys and myself from the Berwyn Disc Golf Club, we went down to Lockport to play Dellwood, the Stilson Safari layout. A very long layout. Some shorter holes where at least you have somewhat of a chance. But I think hole 6E was 695 feet. That's crazy. I have a soon to be 60-year-old arm. Do you know how far 600 and a bunch of feet is for me? It's a lot. So knowing how long the course was and knowing kind of where I'm at, coming off a really good round on Thursday, I thought, all right, even with the additional length, I'd like to finish between 5 over and 7 over par. Let's be realistic on this. It's gonna be longer. It's gonna be colder again. 7 over should be within my reach. I got there early, I was warming up, I was tossing some forehand approach shots, and money. I was landing so close to the basket, under the basket. One time I just launched it, it just did a nice little flex right into the cage. I thought, I have arrived. Wrong, I didn't. Today I finished 12 over par. 12 over par, so I had 8 pars and I had 8 bogeys, and then I think I had 2 double bogeys. Yes, on 2 occasions. Unfortunately, I went out of bounds. Where did I go wrong today? Well, my putting was off. I mean, off. And then I started to realize what was happening, and there was really no way around it. With all of the elevation and the fact that we had 5 guys on the card, my head was on a swivel. Looking this way, looking that way, looking what's going on. And I don't do well that way because vertigo. Yes. Sometimes I suffer from vertigo. Now, I had a spell here at the house that was really bad to where I called 911. They came to get me in the hospital. I went to the hospital. They checked everything out. They couldn't determine which ear triggered it. So they sent me home. And then, of course, I went straight to work because I'm Gen X, mother scratcher. That's what we do. And periodically, if I turn my head too quickly to one side, I'll get vertigo. But it's been a while since I've had any spell. But for some reason today, with the elevation, and then with the increased heart rate from the elevation and walking and pulling my cart and then turning to look quickly, I didn't do myself any real good service today. At one point on one of the holes, it was all uphill. And at one point I walked to my disc and I looked, and then I started to feel dizzy, and then I actually grabbed on to a tree. So I'm not gonna say that that's why I shot 12 over, but it certainly didn't help. My putting was so bad. Did I make some good shots? Yes. So I say so all of the damn time. Destroyer. This is one of the Scoggins destroyers. So she, of course, was world champ in 2025. And this is a lighter weight destroyer. So it's the same Innova destroyer mold, but it's 158 grams instead of something like 169, 172, 174 that the big boys throw. This is a very lightweight destroyer, and I put my own stamp on there. I wanted like a Viking destroyer. I threw this thing very well today. Threw it really, really, really well. Also, ironically, my get out of jail overstable Thunderbird, this thing on a forehand, because I've been practicing the forehand, this thing cooked for me on a couple of holes where I thought, man, I wish I had a forehand. And then I went, dummy, you've been working on your forehand. Throw this, focus, concentrate, and man, it really did well for me. I threw it once really well off the tee, and then I threw it once in the fairway, and it just cooked. So I'm really happy with this disc as well. And then of course, the Vessel. I have trouble throwing the zone. I don't know why. I have it in base plastic, I have it in champion plastic, and I have it in jawbreaker plastic. For some reason, I can't throw it. Went into the shop, talked to Ryan, Big Cat, big shout out. And he said, man, I'm loving the Vessel, because Ryan is now sponsored by ThoughtSpace. I've got a couple of ThoughtSpace molds here at the house, and I really like the plastic. So I've been using that Ricky Wysocki Fossil, and I love that disc, but it's a 1 glide. And I wanna say this is like a 4 glide. Either way, 174 grams on the forehand, and because I'm getting better, I'm able to actually throw this on the backhand as well. This disc was money for me today, and it has been money for me since I got it. And it's, what a cool stamp. I mean, come on. Crocodile, probably. The only time I threw this errantly was on one of the, again, longer holes. And I tried hitting a gap, and I hit a flagpole that was like maybe this wide. I hit that sucker dead center from a distance. So go figure. Otherwise, that disc really did well. And I picked up, I had to do it. In the shop, they were selling the Simon Lizotte Bocas, Bokeh, I'm gonna say Boca, the Boca lattes with the latte stamp. I love this color combo. Pink, I'm a sucker for pink discs, and then turquoise. David and Alex's wedding color, turquoise. So this is a 7601, and it's 168 grams. I looked to see the weight. I only threw this once on hole number 1, and I didn't really pump it that hard. This thing took off like a rocket. Beautiful flight with just a very slight fade at the end. And I was pin high on hole number 1 and almost tapped in for birdie, but of course I went to the right and I was right behind a tree, so I tried to hyzer it around the tree, and I hit the basket, and then had to tap in for par. But picked this up today. Yeah, love it, love it. MVP nails it again. 12 over par. Not happy with that result at all, but it's a very, very hard layout to play. So what are you gonna do? And I did so well on Thursday. And there's the yin and yang of this sport. And then today, after we played Dellwood, some buddies of mine from the disc golf club went out to Summit, which is also pretty close to my house. And I thought, man, I don't know if I have another 18 holes in me. I'm at like 16,000 plus steps for the day today. Bonkers. And I said, all right, you know, I'll come out. So then what we did, I think there were 5 of us. It was me, Wilmore, Vetter, Javi, and then Ryan, 5 of us. So we played something called Beat the Course, where essentially we just played best disc. out of all shots. And we tried to see where we landed. I think we landed 10 under. Everybody had some good shots, and I actually felt like I contributed with a couple of pro shots, a couple of shots off the tee. My disc was one of the better ones, and that's a tough course. So seeing how much better I threw the disc at Summit now versus in the past, again, a little bit of redemption. So the beauty of this sport is, even if you play really horribly, it's like you can't wait to get out there again and try again, because you always learn something, even in the times that you don't play very well. And that happened to me today. So that's the video. I'm looking forward to throwing this bokeh again. I've got another one coming. So, and I think depending on what the color scheme of that one is, this might be my day bokeh, and then I'll tape one up for glow, because throwing this thing like I did today, I'm gonna want that disc in my bag for the glow nights that I guaranteed playing. That's a wrap. That's the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing. And I will see you next time.